Hello, I'm Jose with FrSky North America. In today's video, I'll set up the auto hover and auto knife edge modes on a stabilized receiver. This video has been requested quite a few times, but I never actually used it before. I finally got around to trying it, and yes, it does work very well. A couple of notes. Ensure that you have set up the basic gyro correctly with the receiver oriented correctly and all calibrations done. I made sure that auto level was set up and flying straight and level. And basic gyro functions like stabilized mode are working and adjusted correctly. If you are used to the basic gyro mode with the auto level with the switch up, stabilized in a center position, and off with the switch down, the switch positions when you enable knife edge mode and hover mode are now completely different for all the modes. I personally found that the switch positions are a bit confusing, so I decided to do things a little different. I wanted my regular switch to do the same thing. Self-level, stabilized, and auto level. And then what I did was I added another switch, like say this momentary switch over here, for the hover mode. And then I added the switch in the back of the radio, the momentary switch in the back, and I made that the knife edge mode. This makes it very easy to transition to a plane with the knife edge and hover modes enabled and one where it is not. I'll show you how to set that up using curves. This video assumes that you have set up the basic gyro settings and the plane is flying well in stabilized and auto level modes. See my video on setting up a stabilized receiver if you need to do that. So again, I do suggest maidening the plane first and then adding hover and knife edge modes after. Okay, you've flown the plane and confirmed that the auto level and stabilized modes are functioning perfectly. We can now add hover mode and knife edge modes. First step, we need to activate the new modes. Go into System, Device Config, page down to Receivers, and go to Stabilizer Config. In Stabilizer Group 1, go to Configuration. Over here is Quick Mode. When Quick Mode is enabled, you're only using channel 14 assigned to a switch to change gyro modes, and that's just a 3-position switch that has your basic modes, which is the auto level, stabilized, and off. With Quick Mode disabled, now you need 2 switches, one on channel 14 and another switch on channel 15. And the combination of the switches and the different positions that they're in signify which mode you're in. So again, if you want to enable hover and knife edge modes, you got to disable Quick Mode. Now, if you have a complex plane that is using Stabilizer Group 2, for example, a plane that has 4 ailerons, like you have 2 ailerons per wing, then you need to do the same thing in Stabilizer Group 2. You have to go over here and disable Quick Mode. And if you do make any adjustments, so for example, if you start fine-tuning your hover modes and your knife edge modes, you'll need to do it in both spots, in Group 1 and Group 2 configurations. All right, so this particular plane or this particular example, I'm just using Stabilizer Group 1. So we've changed this to Quick Mode disabled, and now I can return out of this, and I'll go back to the mix page. So Model, Mixes, and I'm going to go to Stab Mode 1, Channel 14. And you can assign this to a switch, which is the way that they intend it in the manual, is you assign this to a switch, you assign Channel 15 Stab Mode Group 2, Stab Mode 2 to another switch, and the combination of those switches do it. Now, I don't like that because I will never remember those complex switch positions. So this is the way I'm going to do it. Over here at source, instead of choosing a switch, I'm going to go over here and choose special. And I'm going to choose 0. So in other words, the orange line says where it's at. Where it crosses the red line is the value that you have. So it's 0%. And if we look down here, 0%. Now, no switch, no nothing will change it. It will just be 0%. So I'm just going to use that as a start point, and I'm going to use curves to change it, to modify it to the points that I want. Now, before I go on, I'm going to switch this back to a switch so we can see what it does. So if we look down here at the output and on the graph, the yellow line on the graph signifies where it's at, where it crosses the red line. So it's at minus 100 because it's all the way at the side. And you can see over here it's at minus 100. So the switch in this position, which is, which is switch up, that is at minus 100. When I flip the switch to the middle position, that goes to 0, and over here it goes to 0 as well. And when I switch the switch to switch down, that goes to positive 100 over there. So that's what we're going to emulate with curves. All right, so this is stab mode 1. Let's do the same thing to, actually, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to that special 0. And we're going to do the same thing for stab mode 2. Edit, source, choose special, which is at the bottom of the list, and go to 0. All right. So the next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and set up the curves. To make it easier, I'm going to label the curves the switch positions. I'm going to go over here to curves. So it's model and then curves. Let's add a new curve. And we're going to name this one SW up. So as in switch up. And switch up, when it switches all the way up, that is equal to minus 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to custom and make it 2 points. Point 1 will be minus 100, and point 2 will be minus 100 as well. And so this is simulation of switch up. Let's add a new curve. I'm going to hit enter, choose add, and over here, let's make this SW mid for mid switch position. Type, again, custom. Points, 2 points is fine. And we can go down here and take a look, but it's already there at 0. So the mid position is equal to 0. Then we're going to add another curve over here. Add. Name is going to be down. And the down position, again, choose custom. 2 points. The down position is going to be equal to positive 100. There it is. All right. So I have 3 custom curves that essentially will take the mix and modify it to those values, to the minus 100, 0, and positive 100 when I activate the curves. So I'm going to return out of this, and in the model menu, I'll go back to the mixes. Now, we need to refer to the manual. So I'm using the TD-SR6 receiver, so I called up the TD-SR6 manual, and conventional mode is essentially not click mode, and that's using 2 switches on channel 14 and channel 15. So if you take a look over here, it tells us that to turn on stabilization mode, channel 14 needs to be in the down position, channel 15 needs to be in the mid. Auto level is both down, etc., etc. So now we're going to go ahead and emulate that. So I'm going to do the normal switch positions, which is there, there, and there, and that will be for the basic modes of auto level, stabilized, and off. So the first one I'm going to do is auto level. So I'm going to go into stab mode 1, edit. I'll refer to the manual, and the manual says in auto level, channel 14, which is mode 1, needs to be down. So I'll go over here, add a new action. Active condition will now be the switch. So it'll be when I flip this switch in that position, I want a curve, and we'll just go to the curves that we set up over here. And this one needs to be the down curve. There it goes. Okay. And it looks like channel 15, which is mode 2, needs to be switch down as well. So I'm going to back up, go to mode 2, edit, add a new action. Active condition of this curve that I'm going to add will be the switch in that position. Action will be curve, and the curve will be the down curve as well. So that's done. I'm going to back out, go back to mode 1, and we'll do the next one, which is stabilization. And it looks like channel 14 is down and channel 15 in the mid position. So let's edit this curve, add a new action. Active condition when the switch is in the middle position. Curve. And this one needs to be down. And let's go ahead and go to channel 15, mode 2, channel 15, edit it, add a new action, active condition, switch in the middle position. And again, looking at the manual, that's going to be in the mid position. So curve, switch mid. All right, let's add the off, and it looks like the off only requires channel 14 to be in the mid position. So channel 14 is over here at stab mode 1. Edit it. Go down here to add a new action. And active condition when the switch is in this position. Action, curve, and this one's going to be mid. All right. So we did the basics ones. I haven't done hover or knife edge yet, but let's just take a look and see if everything is working the way that I think it is. I'm going to return out of this a couple times until I get to the model menu, go over to outputs. I'm going to scroll down until I see channel 14, which is right there. And we're going to see channel 14 and channel 15. So we're going to take a look at both of these and see if the switch positions do what I think they're going to do. So auto level should be down, down. So in other words, both 14 and 15 should be positive 100. And it is. Okay. Stabilization mode is channel 14 down, positive 100, and channel 15 in the mid position, 0. There it is, positive 100, 0. Perfect. And then we'll check off is channel 14 in the 0 position, mid. Perfect. All right. So those are set. We can go back. Let's go ahead and add the hover mode and the knife edge modes. Let's scroll back here to mixes. Go to channel 14. Looking at the manual, it looks like channel 14 needs to be down. So let's edit. Add a new action. Active condition is the switch I want to activate hover mode, which is going to be this one. So this is a momentary, so I want to hold down, and while I'm holding it down, hit the return button to get out of it. There it is. And I can just confirm that it's going the right direction, that it goes bold when I flip the switch. All right, that's good. And action is going to be curve, and the curve that we want is the down curve for channel 14. Perfect. Okay, let's do back over here. Let's go to channel 15, edit it. And this one, let's go ahead and add new action. And according to the manual, it should be up. So channel 15 up. So this is hover mode again. So I'm holding down the momentary switch for hover mode, hit return while I'm holding it up. Go over here to wait, change that to curve. And the curve that we want is going to be switch up. There you go. All right. And let's go back to channel 14, edit. And now we're going to do knife edge mode. Looks like it's channel 14 up and channel 15 mid. So this is mode 1, which is channel 14. And we want to add a new action. Active condition, the switch you want to use to activate hover mode. I'm going to use this momentary switch in the back. And hit return while I'm holding the switch down. Action, curve. And knife edge for channel 14 should be switch up. So this is up. Okay. And let's go to channel 15, which is mode 2. Edit. Add a new action. Active condition, when I press and hold down this button, return while I'm pressing it down. There it goes. And action curve and knife edge, this one should be mid. So let's, whoops, wrong one. We want to go over here and mid. There it is. All right, so we're done. That's the setup. Let's go and confirm everything is working properly. Outputs over here. I'll go down to channel 14, and I'm looking at 14 and 15 and see if they're doing what I want them to do. So I'm going to go over here and go into auto level mode, and that is down and down for 14 and 15, which is positive 100 on both. There it is. Okay. Next is stabilization mode. 14 should be positive 100 because it's down, and mid position for 15, which is 0 over here. So let's try that. Perfect. Positive 100 and 0. Perfect. And then we want to go to off, which is channel 14, 0. Perfect. Okay. Next, let's check hover mode, and hover mode should be 14 down, positive 100, and 15 minus 100, because that's up. There's minus 100, there's positive 100. Perfect. And let's check knife edge mode. That's up and mid. So that would be minus 100 and 0. There's minus 100, there's 0. Perfect. Okay. That's it. We are set up. The next thing that you need to do, obviously, is fly the plane. So you've already flown the plane in stabilized mode and auto level mode. You know that's fine. You can start in auto, you can start in stabilized mode, fly the plane. And when you first do a hover, okay, you want to go into the hover, go straight level, then go up and go as straight as possible, and then hit the switch. Now, you can hit that switch while you are straight and level, and the plane will just abruptly go up. It'll look a lot nicer if you slowly go into it and then press a button. But especially for the test, you want to slowly go into it, get it up, point it up like that, and then press this button. You still need to adjust your throttle. Throttle is not part of it, so that's not a gyro-controlled thing. So you use your throttle to either go into a hover, you find that point where it hovers, or back it off and it starts dropping down or starts rising up. Now, what you're looking for is yaw. And you also want to check pitch. So you want to see if once in a hover, does the plane go down like that, or down elevator, up elevator? What is it doing? And yaw, if it's yawing one direction or the other, and you may need to correct. And by the way, what I'm talking about here also applies to the knife edge mode. So I'm just going to show you on hover mode, but you can apply this to knife edge mode. So what you want to do, if, for example, you go up like that and the plane starts yawing over to one side, and you see that it's yawing one direction, it's yawing to the right, so you'll need to correct with a little bit of left. How do you do that? So the way that you do it, let me get out of this. I'm going to go into System, go back into Device Config, scroll over to Receiver and Stabilizer Config. Configuration for Group 1, and again, you'll have to duplicate anything that you do on Group 2 if you are using Group 2. So over here, you can scroll down and look for hover. Over here, we have gains. The abruptness that I was talking about, where it snaps into position, is controlled by your gain. But also the quickness of the correction is the gain. I find that 100 is good. And it seems to work good for the majority of the setups that I've done. I haven't done that many, but the ones I did, it seemed like it was okay. I didn't really mess with that. The one that I messed with is down here. It's hover, offset for elevator and rudder. So if your plane starts yawing over, you'll have to adjust your offset. You might have to go a couple of percentage points one direction or the other direction. Now, how do you know which direction to do? The easiest way is to take the plane and hold it in a hover position. Obviously, make sure throttle cut is off so you don't have any accidents, but hold it in the hover position, flip your switch, and see which way the rudder goes and see which way it corrects. So if I needed a little bit, I can't remember what I said when I said it earlier, but if I need a little bit of, say, left, go ahead and crank this over one direction and see if the rudder moves left after you pressed enter. And if it does, then you're going the right direction. Now you can just feed in maybe just a little bit of left. But if it was going right, then you might want to go into the negative. So the problem is I don't know which one it is, negative or positive. It depends on your setup and your reversing. So it could be one or the other. But if you hold the plane upright or in a hover configuration, then you can easily tell which way it corrects, because as soon as you change a number and press enter, then it applies it to the model. Generally, I find that it's so close that it's usually like maybe at the most 4% off. So you can try 4%, fly the plane, see if that's enough, and you can adjust from there. And same thing for the elevator offset. So if your plane's in a hover and it seems to be doing that, which is sort of pitching up, then you can apply a little bit of pitch down, hold it in a hover, see which direction it's going when you do the offset, and apply just a little bit of correction and fly the plane and see. The knife edge mode works the same way. The only caveat with the knife edge mode is it only knife edges in one direction. And honestly, for the life of me, I can't remember which way it was, but once you go into the knife edge, if it goes this way, no matter what, it'll only go that way. So, like that one, I don't find as quite as useful as the hover mode. The hover mode works really well. It does a really nice torque roll too. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, go ahead and email me at jose@FrSky-rc.com, or you can try leaving a comment in the video. I'm a little bit quicker with the emails than I am with the comments, because I don't quite see them quite as quickly. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you very much, and have a good day.